So this question that you people asked me, I asked the candidates group yesterday. Were human beings created all at once, or human beings and all other life forms? Were they created all at once, or human beings came first and then all other life forms came later on? Just think about it. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ದಿತಿ ಆದಿತಿ ಓದಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಕತೆ ಓದಿದ್ರ? ಓಕೆ, ಗಣೇಶನ್ ಓದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Want to say a few things?
I didn't read, but I know about that story.
Where did you read about it? How do you know about it?
I read it in Bhagavatam.
Okay. So when is that you read?
You're asking when I read it. Very long back.
That's why I asked you to read again. Because when you have read long time back, no, so we might not able to remember many things. We'll have some idea, some just this feeling that I know. But when we go to the depth of it, we'll not be able to kind of talk about any details. So go through the story again. Anyway, tomorrow, Sunday is there. After the satsang, you have time. You can go through that. How did the other life forms come into being? That's the question. Okay. And in the context of Diti and Aditi, also look at the aspect of Prajapati. So Prajapati was a title at that time, in those times. We talk about Prajapati as one person. No, Prajapati is a title of a person in charge of a job. Like Dhruva is a title given to a person in charge of a particular job. Dhruva, Dhruvadipati, Parshada, Mahaparshada, they are all people, souls, which are given particular kinds of jobs. Okay, so likewise, Prajapati, in the scheme of the creation, Prajapati is also a kind of a post or a position which the soul occupies, and it has to do certain things while occupying that Prajapati position. And you know the story between Prajapati and Narada. Prajapati goes on creating living beings, and Narada goes on liberating them.
Correct, yeah.
And Prajapati says, what are you doing? You are actually interfering with my work. Sorry?
Brahma created 4 sons and he diverted them to spirituality and
So look at Prajapati also, the function of Prajapati. Then ನಮ್ಮ ಭರತ್ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಪ್ರಜಾಪತಿ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂತ.
Breathing is that only, no? That he is something like she tries to do more powerful than Indra, something, that story.
Everyone has heard some part of the story. I want you to read the story in full. Read the story in full and then come back. The Prajapati, the functions of Prajapati, and the Diti and Aditi. Who is the husband of Diti and Aditi?
Asura.
Sorry?
Asura.
Asura. No. Ganeshan. Who is the husband of Diti and Aditi?
I think one of the Saptarishis.
That's why I asked you to read. See how vaguely we remember, right? So read that. It will be useful for you.
This guy, I know. The uh,
ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲೇ
the
ಇದೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್, ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾಲ್ಗೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೂತಿದೆ, ಅದು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಹೊರಗಡೆಗೆ.
its name is something like Kashaya or something.
ಕಷಾಯ ಅಲ್ಲ.
Kashyap.
ಹಾ, ಕಶ್ಯಪ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. Now did you see? A feeling was there of the answer coming, but the answer was not coming in the word. You could see that now immediately. The system is struggling. There is a feeling inside coming. The vibration is there, the feeling is there, but the word is not coming. This is creation in action right in front of us. There is vibration in the system. Vibration is generating a feeling, but the feeling is not getting converted into word. And once it gets through the system, through when I say through the system, it kind of filters through all the samskaras, and then it gets expressed out as a word through the body and the mind. So three levels. You had the vibration, then you had the feeling, then you came to words. But you had the feeling that I know it. You had the feeling not only that I know it, you also had the feeling for the word. And then that word was just about to come. But the word can only come after it gets filtered through the samskaras, and then it comes out through the body and the mind.
Mind stores. The only thing that mind does is store the mappings actually. Feeling to word.
Initially, we feel something, vibration. Then there is this feeling, I know. In the vibration, there is no feeling that I know. But when it comes to the feeling level, we have a feeling that I know. The ego comes in and the knowledge aspect comes in. In the vibration, the ego and the knowledge aspect is not there. It's far more, far, what do you say, far subtler than that, the feeling, the vibrations. Then when it comes down to feeling, then you have the ego coming in and the knowledge aspect coming in. And it says, I know. Then further down, it has to just convert into the words. Now, from the word, from the feeling that I know, the next level of feeling comes, which is the answer itself. But the answers then has to get converted into word and it has to come out. There are many times we are in this realm where somebody asks a question, oh, I know about it, I know about it. You just keep scratching your head. I know this, I know very well. I have read about it, and you can also remember the context where you read, how you got to know. All those things you remember, but you will not remember the word. Many times it happens like that. Okay. Anyway, ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ವಿ ಆಕಾಶದಲ್ಲಿದ್ವಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ. I think we were in Akasha, no?
Yeah, correct.
That's why we left Akasha. This is to say that the identity transforms into Akasha. In other words, the identity itself is Akasha. And I was asking this question, which identity is Akasha? Is it the individual identity which is Akasha? Is it the common identity that happens after the Mahapralaya? Is that the Akasha? Or we say that the Akasha is the absolute? For three things we're using the word Akasha. Individual identity, the common identity after Pralaya, and the absolute itself as Akasha. In other words, if identity is Akasha, no, three: individual identity, common identity after Mahapralaya, and third one is absolute. All the three are Akasha only. Okay. So let's proceed now from Akasha. Otherwise, we'll be stuck. Again, Bharat is making us stuck in Akasha only. He doesn't want to come down.
No, you had said on Monday we'll discuss Saturday on this question. Where is heart and mind in body and how they are related?
Heart and mind.
Where is a heart and mind in body and how they are related? You had asked question and said we'll discuss on Saturday.
I didn't get the last word. Heart and mind.
Where is heart and mind in the body and how they are related?
The heart is there everywhere. although we talk about the heart region, the entire creation, if you look at the entire creation and how the creation came about, the center that you talk about is the heart of the entire creation. Like if we remove our heart, the physical heart, we cannot exist. The body drops dead, right? So if you remove the center from the creation, the entire creation collapses. In that context, the center is the heart of the creation. Without the support of the center, without the base of the center, there is no creation whatsoever. So in that context, how when we say the word heart, heart includes the center and everything that is created. In a way, all the body parts are nothing but an extension of our heart. Whatever happens in the heart, we actually manifest it through the means of the body and the mind. That's all it is. The body and the mind is a means of mechanism or means or a mechanism for the manifestation of what is coming in the heart. Does it make sense? Likewise, the center, if it is the heart, the entire creation is a manifestation or a mechanism of manifestation of what is coming from the center. That's all it is. So when you say the heart, here we mean the center in the macrocosm. In the microcosm, you know the physical heart, and the physical heart also has a functioning aspect to it. So there are three hearts at a physical level. One is the physical heart that you are aware of, the lub-dub, the pumping station. Second one is the feeling heart. The heart as a function of feeling, which is different from the function of the mind. The mind has a function of thinking. The heart has a function of feeling. They are two different things. And thirdly, you have the spiritual heart. The three hearts are present in every individual. And these three hearts take you to the central heart. The central heart is the center itself, from where everything is coming down. So every aspect of what we experience in the body and the mind is entirely based on the heart pumping, even at a physical level. The heart is there, it stops pumping. What happens? None of the other systems or other manifestation of our existence can actually function. Everything stops. Right? So that's why when people give their heart to somebody, they lose track of life. So don't give your heart. Be careful. They lose track, no? Their life become upside down once you give the heart. So you need to be very, very careful about the heart. So this is as far as heart is concerned. Heart is the subtlest aspect of our existence. Mind is a grosser aspect of our existence. From the heart, we derive the mind. A baby has a heart, so it is inherently good, inherently pure. The reason why the baby is very pure and innocent is the mind is not yet formed. As we grow, the mind forms. And when the mind forms, then the thinking comes, then all the calculation, all the profitability, loss, good, bad, everything comes. All the dualities come about because of the functioning of the mind. Then after that, we get attached to the physical body. So what happens in our system is that's why mindfulness cannot take you where heartfulness can take you. We work on the poorest part of our existence, which is the heart. When we work on the heart, we gradually make the mind come under the influence of the heart. When the mind comes under the influence of the heart, the mind gradually starts metamorphosizing. It comes under regulation. It comes under discipline. Then automatically we actually go towards the higher realms. Without the mind coming to, the influence of the heart, the work is incomplete. You can have the best condition in the heart, but if the mind is not under the influence of the heart, the work is incomplete. In other words, the condition of the heart is now not manifesting through the mind and the body. The work is only said to be complete when the work that occurs in the heart gets manifested through the mind and the body. So the heart is used in multiple contexts. I told you three levels: the physical heart, the feeling heart, and the spiritual heart. Then I told you the center itself is the heart. Then there is the heart point. Then there is the heart chakra. Then there is the heart region. Then there is the lower heart region, upper heart region. You have n number of meanings to the word heart. And the actual meaning of the word heart means all inclusive. That is the meaning of the word heart. It includes everything. So when somebody gives heart to somebody, it's almost like they have given everything to them. That's what it is. So when we give heart, it's all inclusive. So these are all the aspects of the heart that you need to remember. And fundamentally, by paying attention to the heart during the meditation, we make the impact of the heart on our life bigger and bigger, broader and broader. As the influence of the heart expands because of the attention that we pay, the mind gradually comes under its influence. Then the mind changes. When the mind changes, automatically the mind is going to influence the functioning of the body also, automatic. So this is how the work proceeds in heartfulness meditation. In heartfulness meditation, there is no beating around the bush. You directly go to the core of our existence, which is the heart. Okay? That's like love at first sight. In first sight only you give away your heart. You remember, in the olden days, they used to have Gandharva Vivaha. Gandharva Vivaha is like that only. They look at each other, they give the heart to one another, and that's it. They're married and then they lead a life. Bharat will say, Hare, that was so nice. It was so easy. Why have they made it so difficult now? Right? So let's proceed with the Akasha now. Otherwise, we'll be stuck. At the time when there is only the absolute and no creation, the question of time did not arise at all. When the thought of the creation got enlivened at the base, it was perfectly free from everything. It proceeded on, and due to the effect of the motion, got transformed into power with its tendency directed towards action. But for the action, it must naturally stand in need of a field or base. Now, the brief pause intervening the original thought and the subsequent being, in other words, between the cause and the effect, was already there. This can appropriately be interpreted as the duration or the time, and is served as the field for the action. Thus, time having merged with the power, God himself transformed into power for further actions towards creation. So, does it make any sense? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಏನಾದ್ರು? ಏನು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ. So originally the absolute was there was no creation, only the absolute. Okay, then the thought of the creation came. When the thought of the creation got activated, then also there was no creation as such. So it's only a minor modification from the absolute state. That's all. Very minor modification. Okay. Then what happens after that? It then proceeded on. That modification now proceeded on, and then in turn it got into a kind of a motion. Now, due to the effect of the motion, this thought got transformed into power. Just now we spoke about this example: vibration, feeling, and word. What's the difference between these three? Vibration is the subtlest of the three. The feeling is a bit more grosser. Something is added. some power is added to it. Then the vibration gets converted into feeling. Then you go into further level. You add a bit more power, then action comes in. The word comes out. The word is nothing but an action. Now the word can come out at the level of the mind also, and then later on through the body. So there are two levels of manifestations of the word. The vibration is at the core. The feeling is at the level of the heart. The manifestation of the word is at the level of the mind, and then later at the level of the body. Does it make sense? These four levels. So prior to the creation, only the absolute was. And what was there in the absolute? No vibration also. So when there was no vibration, from that state, we have actually come down. Then what happens? A subtle level of vibration started. This subtle level of vibration we started is what is called as the thought of creation. When the thought of creation came down, gradually, you remember the stir? Because of the dormant will of God, there is a stir. Where is the stir? The stir is in the absolute only. It cannot be anywhere else. So when the stir got activated, then a field was necessary for the power to flow through. Now, this field is what is now called as the time. In other words, the original thing where the thought descended of creation is the thought. Then this creation is the action. Somewhere in between, there is the power flowing. This intermediary space is called as the time. However, even before the existence of time, because the time is an intermediary thing, but before the existence of time, the power was flowing from the thought towards the action. So now the time got aligned with that power. So in other words, now when he was trying to give answer, what was he waiting for? Just now it happened. He got the feeling, I know the answer. Then he said something. Before he said Kashyapa, he said something else, no? What is it that you said? Kasapa. Something you said.
Kashaya.
That's right.
Kashaya. I told you. What is this Kashaya? You see the letters getting formed. See, Kashyapa also has the three letters. Kashaya also has the same letters. The only thing is the last one is the ba is substituted by ya. Kashaya. So Kashyapa. So he knew that there is a word ka. He knew that there is a word sha. And sha also has something in it. Rather than sha, he made it sha. Kashaya. Can you see? So a closely aligned word was getting formed in his mind. Now during, I'm going to use the word now, the time. What he was actually bidding through is the time. It was taking time for the formation. We could feel it, no? Then he said Kashaya, then there was some silence. Then again, he said, he came up with the word Kashyapa, the Kashyapa. Now, in between the word, in between the feeling that I know the answer, to Kashaya, to Kashyapa, what was there in common? The time. Can you see? Now, the feeling that I know, and there is something flowing towards the answer, that is the power. Now, this duration that you had when this feeling got converted into word is the time. Can you see both of them? Just now you had it. So we need to be thankful for our Bharat for having demonstrated everything right in front of us without knowing. This is exactly how the creation occurs. So there is vibration, less vibration, the thought of the creation. Then the vibration comes down. Along with the vibration, there is this stir that has happened. Now there is, because of the stir, whatever inherent power was there in the latent motion, that gets manifested. So the power is flowing. This is what was happening. The word formation was occurring. That was the power which was flowing. But the power also needed time. What is the time? The time is the intervening period between the action and the thought itself. So for everything that we have, there is a thought and there is an action, and there is some intervening space, and the intervening space is the power and the time added together. We call it as the Kala Shakti, time power. So there is Kala also, there is Shakti also. And as we say that for everything, time has to come. For every idea, time has to come. And we also say this in English, an idea whose time has come is unstoppable. You remember both these sayings? Why is that it is unstoppable? It is aligned with so much power. An idea whose time has come is unstoppable because it is now coming out with full force. Nobody can stop it. I'll pause here. Did it make any sense at all, whatever explanation I gave? And what is you actually went through in that 1 or 2 minutes, you actually went through the entire creation happening right in front of your eyes. This was just a glimpse of creation, and this is something that we do day in and day out all the time. Gopal Krishna, you want to say something? You come nearer.
I was just typing the question actually.
You are just timing the question. We can't answer you. We can't hear you.
Is it better?
Yeah.
So, how is it that the feeling was being converted to word? That is what I was thinking. And why did it take time and power to get there? Why not instant?
Because it's not instant, because it has to pass through the system. When the answer is very clear, it just pops out in 1 second. There's no time necessary. That's why I asked you. You remember I asked you, did you people read the story of Ditya Aditi and Kashyapa? And many of you said, no, I have read it from the past. I know about that story. But I asked you to read about it again. Why is that I asked you to read about it again? Because I knew that it was not as clear as I wanted it to be. So I wanted it to be refreshed so that this time that is going to take can be cut down. So everything manifests through this only. When certain things are actually very clear in our mind, then what happens? The answer comes out instantly. When the things are not clear in our mind, the answer takes time to come. It gets the help of the power, it gets the help of the time, and then comes out. So the time and the power are two separate things that we use day to day in our life. In every activity, we use the time and power. Now, time itself is power and it gets added on to the power. That's what it says in the next page. The time having merged into power gets itself transformed into power for further actions towards creation. Originally, from the stir, the power started flowing. Then the time came into existence. Now the time actually starts adding itself to the power. So the power becomes even more powerful, so to say.
Oh, when there was like perfect, absolute, like the only the space from where the thought came, because space had nothing in it.
I will send you some extract from Yoga Vasishtha. So you are going back to the same question. Why was creation happened for the first time? Why did creation happen?
Because when this started, we started this chapter na, from that day in meditation only this is happening. I'm not going forward.
So you are bugged by this question. Left, right, center.
Totally, if all of this, why this happened, this time.
Upanishad tried to answer this question saying that the absolute alone was. And the absolute did not have anybody to kind of be with or spend time with, because there is no time also at that time. So the absolute, it's like, why does anybody feel the urge to create a movie or create anything in life for that matter? Why does anybody feel the urge to create anything at all? All of us go on creating, no? Every day we are creating this and that, so many things we create every day. There is some inherently present urge. Now, this inherently present urge is also the same urge that is there present in the absolute. And that led to the formation of the creation. So, in a very playful way, they say that God was feeling bored. He didn't have anybody to play with. So, he created human beings and said, okay, now come, let us start playing together. In that way, how did God create? God created human beings as an exact copy of himself. There is no difference between the two. So you create an exact copy of yourself, and then, for example, when you are bored, there are people I've seen do this. They have a carom board, suppose, okay, and they play on this side also. They go on to the other side and play from that side also. Have you seen that happen? There are people who do that, and then likewise, say they play chess. They sit on this side and they play as one player, and then they go on to the other side and they play as other player. This is exactly what is happening with the absolute, and this is creation. In other words, there is no creation in the way that we think. Now, suppose this person who sits here on this side of the table plays the carom or the chess, and now they go to the other side. Now, when they go to the other side, for the play to continue, they have to forget about this player. They have to look at it from that particular perspective and play as that player. Right? Now, the entire game ends the moment this player stabilizes in the original thing, which is that there is only one player. There are no two players. If that realization is got, then this entire game stops actually. Does it make sense at all? God, on one hand, is the center. God, on the other hand, is also playing through the entire creation that he himself has created. I've just given you a very simple binary example of chess or carom board. But just look at it. Now, God being infinite, he plays with himself in infinite ways. Not just one way. Now, ponder about this example. And if you want to experience it, do it today. If you have a carom board, put the carom board or chess, sit on one side and start playing. And then give the suggestion that, okay, I want to play with somebody, but nobody is there. What to play then? You go on the other side and start playing as the other person. Now, all the while, you are the same person. You are no different. What happened? You are not audible. Are you able to hear? We all can hear. I think only Ganeshan can't hear. Bharat, I want you to do this experiment today in order that you settle down in your meditation. So do this experiment. You just play alone. One has not actually split into two. There is still one only, playing from both the sides. But we think that two are playing. One was, one is, and one will be. That is the absolute. The absolute itself is playing with everything that is created through the creation itself. It created and it's also playing through the creation. It never lost touch with itself. That is the answer to your question. One was, one is, and one will be. The same one, suppose, you know Chowkabara? Chowkabara ಆಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಬರೀ ಚೌಕಬಾರ ಆಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು, ಆಡ್ತಲ್ವಾ? ಈಗ ಚೌಕಬಾರಕ್ಕೆ 4 ಸೈಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ? 4 ಸೈಡಲ್ಲಿ ಚೌಕಬಾರ ಇಟ್ಕೋ, 4 ಸೈಡನ್ನು ಇಡು, ಕಾಯಿನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಡು, ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಇಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕವಡೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೋ, ಚೌಕಬಾರ ಹಾಕು, ಒಂದು ಕವಡೆ ಹಾಕು. ನಿನ್ನ ಕಾಯಿನ್ ನೀವು ಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಂದಿದೆಯೋ ಗರ ಅದ್ರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಈಗ ಈ ಪಕ್ಕಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೋ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮತ್ತೆ ಚೌಕ ಹಾಕು, ಇದಾಕು, ಕವಡೆ ಹಾಕು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಗರ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಆ ಪಕ್ಕಕ್ಕೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೋ, ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮತ್ತೆ ಚೌಕ ಬರ ಹಾಕು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಗೆಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಗರ ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಯು ಮೂವ್ ದಟ್ ಕಾಯಿನ್ಸ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ 4ನೇ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಬಾ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಚೌಕ ಬರ ಹಾಕು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ಅದನ್ನು ಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಈಗ ವಾಪಸ್ ಬಂದೆ. ಈಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ? ಒಬ್ಬರೇ ಇರೋದು. ಒಬ್ಬರೇ 4 ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಪ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರಲ್ವಾ? ಅಂದ್ರೆ 4 ಜನ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದು ಒಬ್ಬರೇನೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಅಪಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಇಫ್ 4 people are there and playing. In other words, the same one thing has taken on multiple roles to play with itself. There are not 4 people there, but it appears as if 4 people are playing. ಇದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? There are no 4 people there, appears as if 4 people are playing. Likewise, there are not infinite amount of people and creation. It appears that there is infinite amount of people and creation. There is no creation in that way that we think. ಸರಿ, ಗೋಪಾಲ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಏನೋ ಕೇಳಬೇಕಿತ್ತ? ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. ಹೆಂಗ್ ಚೌಕಬಾರ ಆಡ್ದೋದು ಅಂತ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು. ಸೊ ಲೇ ಲಡಾಕ್ ಹೋಗಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಚೌಕಬಾರ ಆಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, now this example I've given you of the chess, carom board and the chowkabara. Now you think about it. This will give you the answer. What was there at the start before the game started? ಆಟ ಆಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ಏನಿತ್ತು? Only I was there, or one person was there, that's it, right? Then the thought of play came into the being. When the thought of play came into the being, then I had to get all the things necessary for the game. We will construct a game, no? And we are all good at constructing game. You remember the game that we used to play with the books? Open the book and see what is the number. If a particular digit comes, you are gone. You remember that game that we used to play with the book? ಆಟ ಆಡಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ? Virtually, we can create games with anything and everything that we have. Right? Now, when you go back into the state of innocence, what will you be like? You will be a very serious person, or you will be a very playful person?
Playful.
Very playful. That is the very nature. As you go towards innocence, you become more and more playful. Actually, you enjoy the game much more than what you would do otherwise. Right? So as you go near the center, you actually become more and more playful. And you actually then wonder about the entire creation. And Vivekananda writes, a fistful of dust has become this entire creation that you see in front of you. A fitful of dust of reality has become the entire creation. And anyway, why has it become the entire creation? Because God wanted to play. So next time you call the center, come, let us play with one another. You call the center and see, the center has to give you its essence for you to be able to play with it. Why not? Alva. In order that you need to play with the center itself has to make you more powerful so that the game can be good. Otherwise, if one is strong, one is weak, where is the fun of the game?
So,
Now that is exactly what you're doing in meditation. You're going towards the center to absorb the essence of the center, become powerful like the center, and play with the center. That's what you're doing. Just now look at it. I was telling you the heart is the center. You have given the heart to somebody, but they have not given the heart to you. They're happy to talk to you, they're happy to be with you, they're happy to go around everything, but they have not given the heart to you. Will you be happy? Illa alva. None of us will be happy alva. If we give the heart, if the other person also gives the heart, then only we'll be happy. Right? It's like for like. Likewise, you give the heart to the center, and the center also gives its heart to you. Then you will be happy. Then you will be very playful. That is what is supposed to happen. That is why we are actually going towards the center. For what? For exchange of hearts. The trouble is, we are happy exchanging heart at our level. They forget about the center. I see this fellow in front of me. Let me exchange my heart with this fellow. That's okay. The exchange of hearts is occurring at a totally different realm than what is supposed to occur. That's all that is occurring. When the exchange of heart occurs at the higher realm, then that is done. Your job is over. Then everything will happen automatically, naturally. But for that, you need to be careful who you are going to give your heart to. Okay. Anyway, I want you people to try this game out. While actually playing, I want you to see whether when you sit on the other side, do you feel like the person who was sitting on this side or a different person? That's what I want you to feel.
yeah.
You feel different, no? It's not the same person. But in the heart of the heart, you know that there is only one person playing. There are no four people there. The only one person taking on the roles of four people and playing. That's all. Now, just extrapolate this example. There is one only who is playing. Everything that is in creation is also the same person playing through that creation. That's why. And that one never gets lost oneself. It never loses track of oneself. That only one is there. Now just imagine this situation, which is what happened with mentally ill patients. Now you are sitting on this side of the table and playing. Then you go to this side and you think that you are different. And then a mentally ill patient will say, this part of me and that part of me is fighting with one another. How can two things which does not exist only fight with one another? Can you see? And that is mental illness. Anyway, I think nice. Your entire show is our Bharat only. All
Can
the
we
questions are from Bharat only. Answer is also from Bharat only.
so can we say that the game that no, God played or God did. He was experienced in it, and he did it. So he made. He is making us to play the same way.
Why will he be experienced? He is also playing for the first time.
So
Every
that is what.
being, every being that he creates is so unique that through every being he is playing for the first time. See, when you play the same game again and again, you get bored, no? Now remember one thing. Suppose there are two people in the house and they both are playing carom all the time. And a third or fourth person comes into the house. Now, will you be happy to play with the same person that you've been playing every day, or will you be happy to play with the new people who have come?
Yeah.
That's why, in order to renew the game, he creates a new creation again plays. Day in and day out, he is creating new creation and then playing with them. And when does the creation end? After the either the game should be over, the way it is constructed, or you feel bored of it and then you stop the creation. And luckily, since God does not have the mind, he cannot get bored. So what happens is that he would have created that creation until the end of that game he plays. After that, it's gone. Now, either the presence of the game or absence of the game, does it make any difference to the person itself? It doesn't make any difference to the person. The person can be playing, the person need not be playing. When God is playing, there is creation. When God says no play, then no creation. That's all it is. As simple as that. This is the explanation given in the Upanishads. This is the highest that they could go to. And that also correlates with the playfulness, innocence, everything that we spoke about, the curiosity, wonder. When a child starts playing the same game again and again, it has so much excitement and wonder in the game. Come, let us play now. Right? See, as long as the child's mind is not fully formed, the child is very playful. The moment child starts getting entangled in the world through the body and the mind, as the creation being real, it loses its playfulness and becomes serious about life. So if somebody is going towards the center, what is the quality that they should develop?
No,
No sense.
Seriousness or playfulness?
Playful.
You should develop that wonder, sense of curiosity, playfulness, innocence. These are all the things that you develop as you go back towards the center. And there are people who think, hare, creation, spirituality, so serious. That's not how it should be. You see people after the meditation, they don't even smile. They act as if some big thing has fallen on their head. Are you are actually doing meditation to become more and more joyful, more and more playful. That is what you are doing, not to be very serious. So one thing that we learn as we grow older is that not to take life too seriously. Okay, chalta hai. It's also part of the game. That's what you will develop. That approach anyway you will develop. Nature only will teach you. But if you can develop it earlier, it will be useful. Now, when we say serious and playful, we start thinking that because anyway the life game is not serious, why should we put effort at all? I'll put half-baked effort. There's nothing called as half-baked effort in God's creation. In every activity that you do, you put in the heart, mind, and the soul into it. That is God playing. God doesn't say that I'll only play with my body or my mind or my heart. Nothing like that. God, nature is wholesomeness. So whatever God plays, if we play in a wholesome manner, then we are like playing like God only. If we are into it partly, okay, I'll put my mind into it, part of it, part my attention, part of my energy, part of my time. That is not God's play. God's play is wholesomeness. Each and every part that he's playing, he wants to play it to perfection. Because the perfection is his nature. So when we become godlike, we also play our part to perfection. So there is no half-hearted attempt in any part. Every part is absolute and perfect. That's what we are actually striving towards. We become like master when we become perfect in every activity that we do without any effort. That is what is the God state. ಸರಿನಾ? ಅರ್ಧಂಬರ್ಧ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಅರ್ಧಂಬರ್ಧ ಮಾಡ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ human. When you are involved in any activity wholesomely, that is God state. Then you are not doing it. It's God himself who is doing it. ಸರಿನಾ? ಸರಿ 7:28 ಆಯ್ತು. ಇವತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಆಟ ಆಡ್ರಿ. I told you can go and play. I've given you chess, carom, chowkabara, whatever you want to play, you can play. But play and then come back and tell us what was your experience like. ಮಕ್ಕಳು 4 ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ they do self play. Children, all children, by 3rd or 4th year of their age, they do self play. Have you seen that? Autism kids do not self play because they have no capacity for imagining. Especially girls, they get a doll, they think that the doll is their mother. They start, our friend, they go on, what do you say, beautifying the doll. Have you seen that? That's the beauty. It happens right in front of your eyes. And that is called as self-play. And self-play is when we go to the 10th point. The self is playing with itself. That's when we feel we are the masters of the universe. Entire thing in creation, we are the masters of it and we want to play with everything. You had this maxim yesterday. You read that Gopal Krishna had sent it. Lalaji says on August 14th that he was also very playful, although he appears to be very, very serious in the pictures. He was very playful, and Babuji also was very playful. He was always pulling other people's leg during his lifetime. So he says, don't be too, what do you say, serious. Be smiling, be joyful, be happy, and play. Why not participate actively in God's play, wholesomely? Then it's no longer we playing, he is only playing through us. That's all. ಸರಿನಾ? ಸರಿ ಆಯ್ತು ಸರ್, ಇವತ್ತು ನಾಳೆ ಹೋಗಿ ನಾನು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟ್ ಬಾರಿಸಿ ಒಂದು 6 ಸಿಕ್ಸಸ್ ಹೊಡೆದು ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಭರತ್. ಆಯ್ತು, ಏನಿವೆ, ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್.